Today in science, the date is 27 and day is Sunday. We are in week 2, science. Today in science, we are going to start our lesson 5.2 from your science learners book. So we are in unit 5. The name of the unit is electricity. And we are going to start our lesson 5.2. The name of the lesson is Staying Safe, page number 50 and 51. So in this lesson, we are going to learn how to stay safe from electricity. Main electricity is dangerous. We have learned that we have two types of electricity. One is main electricity, and that another one is the electricity from batteries. So the main electricity is very powerful and it is very dangerous. If we touch it, we can get an electric shock. So while using an electrical device, we have to be very careful. So in this lesson, there are some of the vocabulary words, that is wire, rock. So here are two types of electricity. Main electricity, that is in switches and socket in your home. And there is another electricity that we take from cells and batteries. So the main electricity is very dangerous and we have to be very careful while using them. You can see that main electricity is powerful. Electricity is dangerous and we should never use damaged wires. We should always use a proper and good functioning wire. Why? Because if your wire is damaged, your electricity can pass through it, and when you are doing something, you can get shock or you can get any electric wire. Here you can see the boy. The boy is putting something in socket. So never put anything into the socket like pencil or other rod materials. You should not put them inside the socket. If you are going to put inside the socket like this, you might get a big electric shock and you might hurt yourself. So be careful. Never put anything into the socket. Main electricity can move in water. You can see that there are some things through which electricity can pass easily. Water is the most, it's the thing that through which electricity can pass very easily. So when you are using electricity, be careful that your hands are dry. Your hands are dry and there is no water on your hands while touching any socket, even the button. You can see here, when you are touching a button to on the light, your hand should be dry. Why? Because if your hands are wet and you are touching the electricity, you might get a big shock on your fingers. So be careful while you are using electricity. You should keep it in mind that your hands are dry. Even when you are drying your hairs, you can see in the third picture, the girl is drying her hairs with the dryer. So it's okay that your hairs are wet, but your hand should always be dry while you are using any electrical device. So your hand should be dry. So when we are using the electricity, we should be careful that we are not staying so close to the water, okay? And our hands are not wet while using the electricity. Why? Because with the water, it catches the electricity very easily and you might get shocked. Okay, what have you learned in this lesson? What we have learned? Take care when using electricity. You should be very careful when you are using electricity. Main electricities can be dangerous. Battery electricity is not that dangerous, but the main electricity that comes in the switches and in the sockets of your house, that is very dangerous. Okay, so when you want to use electricity, you can ask your adult, or you can be very careful while using electricity. Okay, when if I'm touching the socket with my wet hands, what will happen? I will get a big shock from the electricity. Why? Because water can catch electricity very easily. Number 3, never use a damaged wire. Means when you are using electricity, with the electricity, you should never use an old wire or damaged wire. Any wire that doesn't have plastic on it, you should not use it because it is very dangerous. A high voltage of electricity is passing through it, and when you are going to use a damaged electricity, damaged wire, what will happen? You are going to get a big shock from this. Number 4, never put anything other than a plug into a wall socket. So here you can see the sockets are made to put plug, not your finger or anything else. You should not put any metal, knife, spoon inside the socket. No, these are only made to put plugs, not other things. Okay. And last is, do not use electricity near the water. When you are near the water, you should not use electricity, or when your hands are wet, you should not use electricity. First of all, you should dry your hands with the towel or with the cloth, anything. Your hand should be dry, then you can use electricity. Even if your hand have a little bit of water, you should clean it first, dry your hands, then use electricity. Okay, because with the wet hands you are going to get shock, electric shock, and sometimes if the high voltage of electricity is passing, you might get severe shock and you can get hurt. Okay, so be careful while using an electricity. So I want you people to open your notebooks and write these points in your notebooks. So let's write, boys.